Dear clients, Portugal Homes is thrilled to be hosting a webinar on the Portugal Golden Visa and the Portuguese real estate market. Our key speaker, CEO and co-founder, Gary Harland, will touch base on key topics related to the Golden Visa, and a Q&A will be addressed at the end of the webinar. Please stay tuned, and we hope you enjoyed this webinar.
Hi, my name is Gary Harland, the CEO for Portugal Homes, Harland and Poston Group, and I'm here to cover some recent changes for the Golden Visa here in Portugal. Recently, there was a bill presented and that will be presented to the government on the 19th of May. The proposal is to stop the Golden Visa completely on the 19th of May. They're looking to do this immediately. They should give us some time. Historically, they have given us some time previously when they've changed the visa, because the visa has been going now in Portugal for the last 10 years, and they have changed this considerably over that time, the time frame. Originally, it was for historically the Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve region for residential property, commercial property, touristic property. It could be land. Originally the program was for the 500 Golden Visa. They then reduced it for low density to 400 Golden Visa for the application process. There was also the 350 that was introduced. So that was a property typically that needed renovation. It was 30 years old and it needed a renovation contract to renovate a property in an area where that was needed for renovation, for a renovation project. They also introduced the low density 280 Golden Visa. And when they put these changes in place, then normally they gave us for around 8 to 10 months before the changes were announced to where they were applied. We are hoping this will happen. We're not quite sure how they're going to do this. It looks like they're going to do it imminently, but we are expecting some time. But ultimately, if we adopt the attitude that, you know, the 19th of May is the deadline, then we are still in a position right now to put clients in a position to start the Golden Visa process. If you have all of your documents in place, if you have the funds in place, then we can still structure with some developers that we work with and ourselves to put you in a position, whether it be through lawyers or whether it be through the developers direct, then they can help and we can help guide you through the process. But time is of the essence right now, guys. And like I said, we're hoping that they're going to give us some more time. Just to give you a little bit of background on you know what property is eligible right now, you can invest in the interior areas of Portugal for pretty much anything. So it could be, and when we say interior areas, it's of a low density area, such as 𝘖𝗢𝗓 or 𝘖𝗄𝗄𝗧 and places like that, right in the interior areas of Portugal. It can be a residential property, it can be touristic. It can be anywhere. If it's a key-ready property, it can be from the 400 Golden Visa process. So the entry-level purchase price is €400,000. It can be anything. It can be land. It can be multiple units. It can be residential, commercial, touristic, pretty much anything across the board in the interior area of Portugal. If it is a renovation property, then it can qualify at a lower entry-level purchase price of €280,000. It is a property typically that's 30 years old and in need of renovation. So as long as the purchase price includes works contract and the purchase price of the property, either on or above the 280,000 threshold, then that gives eligibility for the property to put you in a position where you can start the application for the process for the Golden Visa. Ultimately, we do still have a very, very tight time frame to do that. So it would be advisable, if we guided you into this property, that it would work, as the documents are in place, the due diligence has already been checked by an independent lawyer. We can introduce you guys into that process if need be. But like I said before, if you don't have a bank account that's active right now, then we can help with that. But the opportunity or the options that you have right now will be to pay the developer direct or pay the lawyer, and they can structure, or some lawyers will structure the process so you can start the application. Typically, you would normally own the property and have a title deed. In this case, we don't have much time to do that and set it up with the cameras or the certain areas in the country that you would need to do that. So our advice would be to enter into a promissory contract, a CPCV, above the threshold of the entry-level purchase price. And it basically means that we're guiding you into a contract where you have invested above that threshold, then you can start the application for the process. Typically, if you don't have a bank account here open in Portugal, then that would be the only option right now, because right now you're looking at a time frame for an application for a bank account is around 12 weeks. Historically, previous to that, it was around 5 to 10 days. So you don't have a great deal of time to put the application in. The due diligence from the banks is a lot in compliance at the bank right now, or any of the banks that we can introduce you to are a lot more diligent from what's happened previously in Portugal. The reason for that is what's happened in Russia. There is a lot more money laundering issues and due diligence and compliance from a bank, on a bank's perspective, to put a client in a position where they have an active bank account. But like I said before, we can help with that, and we can guide you into a development or into a law firm that can specifically structure something to put you in a position even at this final stage. My advice would be, again, because we've got until the 19th of May before the announcement is, or the final bill is presented to the government, then let's say they do this imminently and it's of an immediate effect, you're probably still going to have around 14 days grace from that period before it's the bill is stamped, approved. So you've still got an element of time, and it's something, if any of your clients are ready to move forward and you want to do that, then we can certainly try and put you in a position to help you with that. Commercial property, again, so you got, if it was a 280 visa or whether it was a 400 visa in the interior areas of Portugal, then we can help with that, residential, commercial. If you want to look into any other areas, which, if you're comparing interior areas to any of the densely populated areas of Portugal, the exit strategy and potential yield is a lot higher in the likes of Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. Now, that's something that, again, we can guide or help you with as regards to, a yield, a return on investment, and an exit strategy in the future. Historically, most of our clients have decided to invest in these areas, and we can still help with that, but it can no longer be residential property in the higher densely populated areas of the Algarve or Lisbon or Porto. So it must be a touristic or commercially structured property. So in that case, then again, we still have some great options in the touristic areas of the Algarve, in Lisbon, and in Porto. So it's something that we can certainly guide you with, that will give you a good or better potential for the investment return, exit strategy, and yield. Historically, the visa program, it's a 6-year program. The program has still not changed. If your application process is in already, or if we put you in a position where you've purchased the property and the application is in before the 19th of May, then we can still help, and we can still put you in a position where you're in the program. Once you're in the program, the application process and the program will not change. So it's still a 6-year program. It's made up of an application, a 2-year renewal, another 2-year renewal, and then at the end of the program, on the 5th year, you can apply for passport and citizenship, okay, through title. So as long as you've still own the property, as long as at each renewal you've applied for the process, you've done the biometrics checks, you still have a criminal record, a clean criminal record check, all in place, all of the documents in place for the lawyers to put the application in, then you can still go through the program. Each minimum stay of each renewal, so if you imagine you've got 6 years, the first application program, you got 24 months, you've got a 14-day minimum stay requirement. Once you have that Schengen Residency Golden Visa card, you can live in Portugal, you can work in Portugal, but the minimum stay requirement is 7 days per annum, which is 14 days for each renewal. At the end of that, then you've got another renewal, exactly the same process for that 2-year program. And again, at the end of the program, on the 5th year, you can apply for passport and citizenship. So as long as over that process, you've still got, clean title, you still own the property, then you, your family, your spouse, whether it be dependent children or whether it be dependent parents as well, they can still apply for the process through the umbrella of the main applicant. Okay, so that is something that, again, we can still put you in a position to do if you're ready to move forward and you're in a position to do that. For any existing clients, and I'm quite sure that we've got quite a few existing clients or clients that have just logged into the webinar to see what's happening or ask any questions that we can hopefully answer for you, then if you're already in the program, then don't worry, it's not going to change. You know, you're already in the process, and each renewal, whether it's there's a backlog, because there is a huge backlog for applications due to the fact that CEF was closed down over the pandemic, so they had all of the renewals to deal with. They also had all of the new applications for the new applicants to start as well. So that obviously slowed everything down. The pandemic didn't help because everything was closed, and then as they reopened, they are addressing everything that they can to still help the clients with renewals and existing applications. But if your application is in and you still haven't got the date for your biometrics, then don't worry, it's still in process. It's just a case that time, the way that they're working this is they're trying to get through each individual client. So they've opened it up. It's an online application process, and they are still working through. So don't worry. I think originally there was around 2 years of waiting list when the pandemic was in force. They've got that down now to about, I think it's about 14 to 16 months for any backlog that they're working from any client. So again, don't worry. If you're in the program, if your application's in and you've purchased your property, then it's just a case of, it's a waiting game. It's quite frustrating. We understand that, but at the end of the day, it's, once you're in, it is something that's going to be addressed at some point. Okay. What you will need normally, historically in Portugal, you would need, like I covered earlier, a bank account. You need a fiscal tax ID. Okay, so let's say you guys are in a position where you want to start the application, you don't have any fiscal, you don't have any bank account, then it's something that my team can help with if you need fiscal representation. Fiscal representation is a part of the process where you need a tax identification, and then we will represent you, or we can introduce you to a company that can represent you as a fiscal representative or fiscal representation. Your tax ID is imperative to put you in a position to start the application for the visa and also purchase your property. The bank account is something that you will need, but because, if some developers will work with, or a lawyer will work without the bank account, and they can take the funds, then they can still put you in a position to start the application for the visa, should you wish to move forward. But like I said before, time is of the essence. Some lawyers will, some lawyers won't, some developers will, some developers won't. But that's something, with our on-the-ground expert knowledge here in Portugal, we can guide you through this process if that's something that you want to do for the next, foreseeable dates up until the 19th of May, or maybe after. Like I said before, historically, when the government has implied changes to the visa program, and they've made a lot over the last 10 years, they normally give us some time. Okay, so they give time for developers to have documentations, or developers to put, to process applications, for lawyers to process applications, for clients to, who have reserved or in promissory contract and waiting for documents. They will normally give some time of grace. Like I said before, typically they would announce in February, March, and they would normally give us until the end of the year to do that. Right now, it looks like they're pushing to stop the visa in May the 19th. If they do that, like I said, it's that would be a worst case scenario. Best case scenario would they'll give us till the end of the year. But let's see, nobody knows until the announcement is made, the bill's presented. Once it's stamped, sealed, approved, then we know. So I would say for any client looking to move forward now, working on a worst case scenario, and like I said, time is of the essence, and get your application in, get your property purchased, get yourself in a position where you can start the application, and that's something that we can help guide you with. I think that's pretty much what I can cover as regards to the visa, what areas that you can purchase in, in the likes of Porto, the Algarve, Lisbon. You've still got the touristic visa. Touristic visa or touristic structured property is basically something like a hotel, something like a touristic apartment complex. Now, anything that's structured as touristic is obviously it's specifically structured for tourism. It has one operator or one management company that manages that, and it's not something that you could normally purchase and use for your own personal use. It's something that's specifically structured for the touristic market, but it offers you a platform where you can invest your money. You can purchase the property. In most cases, it's a freehold property, or most of the properties that we would structure, you'll be looking at a freehold property. So you will still own the property, but you don't actually have any or very little use of that property. You will normally obtain a yield if it's in a good, logimental area, or a good touristic area, whether it be Lisbon or whether it be the Algarve or Porto. Then you will receive the rental return or the yield, but very little usage. In some cases, the developer will offer a buyback guarantee. In that case, if there's a buyback guarantee, then it's a very safe exit strategy for an investor or a client to be able to, guarantee to get the return of the funds through the process of the application for the visa, but also have a guarantee to get the funds back once the application process is complete and the client has the ability to apply for the passport, citizenship. Once you've applied for the passport, once you've got your citizenship, then you have an exit strategy at the end of that. So again, some of these touristic properties offer that facility, some of them don't. But if it's touristically licensed, as a touristically licensed development, then it would give you the possibility to purchase that in a high density area and still apply for the Golden Visa and obtain passport and citizenship through that 5-year program. It could also still work for a commercial property. So anything that's structured commercially, such as a shop or any commercial building or property that has that license, then that would still give you eligibility for the application for the Golden Visa as well. So again, like I said, it's something that, our listers work tirelessly on finding specific structured product that works for the visa. And like I said, any inquiries, any clients that are looking to move forward, we have a team that can help guide you into the right property, put you in a position where you can start the purchase process, guide you with the structure specifically so that that you're in a safe place where your money is safe, and that you're also in a position where you can start the application process even in these final days that we have right now. So again, like I said before, we can still help with that. Any other areas that I've not covered are basically the interior areas of Portugal, which again, like I said, we can still source some product there, but it's not something that I would advise at this late stage in the game, because the reality of it is you have a very small time frame if you're ready to move forward. If you're not ready to move forward in your existing client, then like I said, if it's one of our clients or whether it's another client that's just joined in the webinar and you have any questions, then what we'll do in a second is we'll open the webinar up and we can answer any questions as best we can, whether it's existing or whether it's any other clients that we have out there. Like I said, it's something that we can open up for the questions and queries right now.
Now we'll follow up with the Q&A portion of the webinar. We have a question from Ali. How long does it take to get approval after the online submission at SEF?
Yeah, if we go historically, then you're looking at it was around 8 months to get approval. Okay, so when I say approval, it's a process where the application is submitted. Okay, the application is approved. Sorry, historically around 4 months for the approval, and then typically another 3 to 4 months before you get the appointment for biometrics, and then you will come over physically, put the biometrics, have the biometrics checks done, the fingerprint checks, everything done, and then you would receive your Golden Visa Schengen residency card in around, I would say around 8 months historically. Worst case scenario right now, you're probably looking at about 14 months to put you in that position. And the reason for that is like I'd covered earlier, is there is a huge backlog with 𝘄𝑗. The reason for that is pandemic and the fact that, they've got so many renewals, and also, the back end of 2021 and 2020, when everybody was putting all their applications in to stop before the deadline from residential properties, and most clients were buying remotely, then that's the reason why they've had such a backlog. So the reality is you're probably looking at about 14 months.
Following question is from Miguel. Do you consider it profitable to invest in commercial developments in Lisbon or Porto as a way of getting the visa, as the residential option is no longer eligible?
Okay, profitable. Yeah, the reality is, in most cases, the investment is not as fruitful as it used to be historically if you're investing in residential property in Lisbon. Commercially, the answer to that question is the yield is, in some cases, can be quite fruitful, but the reality of that, you're looking at normally around 4% return on the investment. In some cases, you can be offered a guaranteed buyback. In some cases that you can't. So as regards to return on investment, you're probably looking at around 4% return on investment as a yield, as an income from a commercial property.
Following question is from Daniel. If Portugal closes up, can you recommend a different country that might be opening up for Golden Visa?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we are, obviously, we're tapping into a global Golden Visa market right now. So, we built the business from scratch over the last 5 years. So yes, the answer is that there is things that we are working on in the background. But for now, the main focus would be Portugal, because it offers a fantastic, very, very flexible program. So our complete focus right now is Portugal. But yeah, the answer to that question is there is other avenues that the team is working on and looking at other visas.
Following question from Ian. What sorts of restrictions exist in buying property in Portugal, or Spain for that matter, for EU citizens? Would it be more free to buy apart from the Golden Visa program?
Sorry, repeat that question again, sorry.
What sorts of restrictions exist from buying property in Portugal, or Spain for that matter, for EU citizens? Would it be more free to buy apart from the Golden Visa program?
I would say, as regards to restrictions, that there is no restrictions in purchasing property. If it's a property that you're looking to purchase, we are an AMI registered real estate company, and we can guide you through that process as regards to purchasing the property, introducing it to a law firm, performing our own due diligence on any of the listings that we have, and also guiding you with a lawyer who will independently perform their due diligence on the property. So as regards to restrictions, there is no restrictions as regards to purchasing the property. The only thing that I would say is opening a Portuguese bank account right now is a lot more timely than it historically used to be. Like I said before, you could probably look at between 5 to 10 days to have a bank account active once you've achieved or got your fiscal representation. That's something that we can help you with that process. You're probably looking at between 24 and 48 hours, we can have a tax ID. The bank account is around 12 weeks. That's the only thing that I would say is a little bit more restrictive than it used to be, as long as you adopt the attitude that it's going to take longer to open the bank account. Regarding the purchase of the property, you can reserve a property and hold that property, and as long as the vendor or the developer is in agreement that it's imminently you're going to be waiting for an active bank account before you move forward with the purchase of it, then there is really no restrictions on purchasing property here in Portugal.
Following question is from Sue. Can I purchase in a low density area in cash by May 19th?
In cash? Not something that we would advise any client to purchase in cash. Obviously, you would need a Portuguese bank account, and you would normally go through that process to transfer the funds from abroad into your Portuguese bank account. So as regards to cash, then it's not something that we would advise any of our clients to do.
Following question is from Robert. Can the investment come from a UK limited company, which I hold 51% of the shares?
For the Golden Visa? Yeah, yes, it can. It can definitely still give any client that owns a company and has shares in that company eligibility to purchase the property through taking the funds out of the company, as long as the other shareholders are in agreement that you can take the funds from your company and the funds are there for the set amount to purchase the property. Then yes, it's something that you can purchase property through the company and put you in a position to start the application for the visa. Yeah.
Question from Sue. I would like to open a bank account and get fiscal tax ID. Something that we can provide for them?
Absolutely, yeah, we can help you with that. Like I said, I think I've covered this in the webinar earlier. As regards to the bank account, there is a time frame of around 12 weeks to get an active bank account. Fiscal representation, we have an after sales team that can guide you specifically to put you in a position where you obtain fiscal representation. If you want us to guide you with another company, again, we can introduce other firms that can offer fiscal representation as well. Bearing in mind cost, we can give you several different options as regards to which company you want to choose for fiscal representation, whether it's us or another company. And bank accounts, then several global banks that we can introduce you to, where the process is quite transparent and quite easy to apply. Just bear in mind that it'll take around 12 weeks to get the application accepted on the bank account active.
We have a question from Dean. With the closing of the Golden Visa program, doesn't that put your business model at risk? How can we reassure investors that our investment is secure and will be able to exit as planned?
As regards to the company, we're not at risk in any way, shape, or form. We're a very cash-rich business. We've worked the business in the last 5 years. Granted, specifically on the Golden Visa program, but as regards to where we are with the business right now, we're in a very strong position. So as regards to any other avenues, such as we are an AMI registered real estate agent as well, and there is a lot more to our business than just Golden Visa clients. We've got lifestyle, we've got relocation, we've got investor clients who just purchase property as an investor. In fact, or a very good percentage of our investor clients that have initially been Golden Visa clients, and they wanted to come back and invest with the business because they were so happy to do business with us, so happy to deal with us as a brand. So as regards to that, then there is no issues with us as a company as regards to the strength or the financial background of the business. We don't have any debt.
We have another question from Ian. Ian's wife is EU citizen, and if they were to open a bank account, a Portuguese bank account, she would be relatively free to purchase a property regardless of the type of area, regardless of the type or area. They wouldn't necessarily need a Golden Visa program in that case.
Excellent. No, you don't. If you're an EU citizen and you just want to invest in Portugal, then it's a fantastic country to invest in. It's something that we, historically from 2006 right up until now, I've worked in the real estate industry here in Portugal, and it's a fantastic place to invest as regards to real estate. So we can guide you with that. It's as an EU citizen, there's still some fantastic opportunities and fantastic places to invest here in Portugal, just on a real estate sector.
Following question is from Philip. If I decide to invest in the Golden Visa through a touristic license and purchase a property by using your services, do you also provide support for your customers later on when the process is completed?
Absolutely. Once your process is completed, then, depending where you purchase, we have an after sales team. It's a separate department within our business that we have structured that specifically deal with clients after the sale, and not just our own clients. There's other companies that would come, or other clients that will come from other companies just to use that facility that we have as regards to the after sales team. So yeah, we can certainly help, after the process is completed. That's something that the after sales team can help. Whether you have a property that you want to sell or whether you want to keep that property and you want us to manage it, then that's something we will certainly help you with in the future.
Following question is from Jacques. I've heard you've been promoting a co-working space. Is there anything I should keep in mind before investing?
I think keep in mind it's quite a broad question.
This is in regards to the co-working space, Matria.
Okay, so then, as regards to that, then to bear in mind that specific property can still give eligibility for the visa right now. It's something that we can help structure and put you in a position. I can introduce you to one of the team, and they can certainly guide you through the process. It's everything is structured, all the due diligence is checked, and we can certainly put you in a position to start the application for the visa before the end, if that's, or before the 19th of this month, if that's something that you wish to do.
We have a question from Sue. Can't purchase a property until she has a bank account, correct?
Sorry?
Sue won't be able to purchase a property until she has a bank account.
For the visa?
Yes.
She can purchase a property, certainly can purchase a property before the visa. That's something that I covered earlier in the webinar. There is some developers and there is some lawyers that can help guide you through the process without having the bank account. You will typically need a bank account at some point, but because we don't have the luxury of time right now, then we can certainly put you in a position where you can purchase the property, you can apply for the bank account, but you can still apply for the visa whilst not having the bank account. That's something we can certainly help guide you with, or one of the team can help guide you with before your bank account's active.
We have a question from John. Do you offer property management services for Golden Visa investors, as I'm living in the US and I own a property in Lisbon?
Absolutely, yes. Like I said, I've covered this quite a few times now. We have an after-sales team that can definitely help any client, whether they're Golden Visa or whether they are lifestyle clients, whether they're investor clients. My after-sales team can cover every specific avenue for anything for a client after the purchase. So, you know, it's something that we pride ourselves on, and that department can certainly help you with that.
Following question is from Mark. How does the Portugal Nomad Visa differ from the Golden Visa program to property investments, eventual citizenship?
So, okay, the Nomad Visa is completely different. It doesn't. It's not done through purchase of property. So it's not a Golden Visa process. It's a Nomad. So any person, the specific difference would be the Nomad Visa doesn't offer the flexibility that the Golden Visa program does. The Golden Visa program has a minimum stay requirement. You invest in the property, you complete the renewals at each step of the way, and then you know you've got you can live here, you can work here, but your minimum stay requirement is only 7 days. Okay, so it offers that flexibility. The Nomad Visa doesn't offer that flexibility. It's something where you're going to have to stay here in Portugal over a 6-month residency. And it doesn't offer every client specific flexibility.
Following question is from 𝘄𝘄𝘄𝗧. In case Golden Visa ends, is there other alternatives?
In Portugal, there is some other alternatives. You know, it's something that, in our opinion right now, the Golden Visa offers the ultimate flexibility for any application or for any client looking to enter on the Golden Visa program. So, but there is other avenues, and there is other things that we're looking at, but nothing that would strike me right now as being as flexible as the Golden Visa program.
Following questions from Jessica. Does Portugal offer good rental opportunities?
Rental opportunities. Okay, it's a steady, sustainable rental return. You know, it's a European country. It offers, you know, typically a yield that's not as attractive as some other countries, but it's a sustainable yield. You know, typically you're looking at between 4% and 5% rental return on a property.
Following question from Isan. Does Portugal Golden Visa at this time offer good 280 minimum or 350K Golden Visa options for clients?
Yes, the answer is yes. If it's something that you want to inquire and you want to take a step further, then after the webinar today, we can introduce you to one of the team, and they can introduce you to specific product that's structured for the 280 or the 350 visa. And the answer is yeah, there's some great product there still.
And following question is from Sue. We have 2 questions in one. It will be, Sue is interested in flying in next week to purchase a place in the interior, so interior region. Does this include apartments, so primarily residential? What's the closest interior region to Lisbon or the Algarve?
It's $1 million question, that one. The closest interior area to Lisbon and Porto. Yeah, Lisbon and the Algarve. Well, but possibly areas of Beja could be the closest. That's not saying that that's the best area to invest. So again, if you're looking to fly in next week, then I can introduce you, or we can introduce you to one of the team, and they can, if the interior area is where you want to be and it's somewhere that you've not visited yet, then it's something that we can certainly educate you on. Some good interior areas or better interior areas of Portugal that can offer what you require as a lifestyle choice. And again, it's $1 million question. It's something that we would need to sit down with you and basically see what's going to be the best, or tick most of the boxes that you require if you want to be in the interior areas of Portugal.
We have wrapped up right now the Q&A portion of the webinar. We welcome all of our clients and thank them for joining us to, we have one more question. Thank you, Sue. We have a question from Sue to repeat the 280 and 350K investment options that are available in Portugal.
For me to
yes, just to repeat the 280K or 350K
and
option.
350. Okay, there is, from what we can guide you with right now, there is still some 350 and 280 visa options. If it's a 280 visa option, then we still have the odd option down in the Algarve, which is touristic, and we have some commercial space up in Lisbon that can be structured for the 350. And those are two options that we have right now. They could still put you in a position to start the application for the visa should you be ready, and should you be in a position that you can move quickly. Then again, one of my team can help you with that, or with that application process, or with the buy-in process. They can guide you through each step.
We have an additional question from Mark. He is a USA national, as is his wife, but his wife has German lineage and a German passport. Is it better for her to apply for the Golden Visa program or himself?
Wife's citizenship, is that right? She has German citizenship and passport. Then there is no need for her to apply for a visa. She's already got European citizenship, so it's something that she wouldn't be able to do yourself. Absolutely, if you want to go down that route, then you can apply through the Golden Visa program and obtain your own passport and citizenship that way. But as regards to your wife, then she doesn't need to do that. She already has European status.
We welcome any clients to adhere to any questions.
Thank you for your time, and appreciate anybody else that has any further questions or queries on anything as regards to the process. Then contact us directly, and we'll guide you through the process with one of our team. And thank you very much.
Get in touch with us at portugalhomes.com for additional details, and keep in touch with us with our news. Thank you.